know what, man? Let the man put his damn piece tonight. Let's go.
So, it's your choice. We can do something new that we'll see if I memorize it or not, or choose your favorite poem.
Something
new.
Something new.
Something new. Okay.
Something new.
Let's see if I have this memorized right.
You got this.
Her name was Alice Louise Miller Burnett Rogers Prince, but I just called her Nan. And it would be a long time before I'd understand how privileged I am to have grown into adult years with my great-grandmother at hand. And even through adult tears I shed in missing her, I know I stand better prepared to face adult fears by remembering how she held my hand. Long hair, beautifully black in its grayness, and features that testified to the mix of Cabulon and Turtle Island that our heritage wove into her. This always intrigued me, always resonated in me, such that my alliance in later years with the indigenous fam came as naturally to me as the escape routes our people ran to native lands. Born in the last year of the 19th, not far removed from slavery's maze, I was amazed. I'd say, Nan, you were born in the olden days, and she'd just pat me on the arm and laugh at how tickled I got at things. It's just basically not far removed from things myself. I found myself in loving awe at being in the presence of living history, connected to the ancestors in ways I could not fully understand, and yet my spirit embraced that mystery. Moved from Brooklyn to Baltimore so her teen mother-granddaughter could continue to be more and proceed with her higher learning while her daughter did the earning, and she helped take care of the child. All the while, during these formative times, I had 3 generations of love surrounded me like warm blankets. Riding the train to Kentucky or going down to North Carolina, down home, didn't know how lucky I was that my world was more than just the hood, and thus my worldview was more of what it should be, letting a young black kid know that he indeed could be. Laying on her bed and playing with toys while she rocked in her chair and watched the stories. Listening to her was to be transported through time to that little one-room schoolhouse where she taught reading, writing, and arithmetic, making sure something would stick in the heads of black children as she helped raise the village around her while making sure her own family would rise. My eyes filled with wonder at stories of a farm horse named Dapper Dan. They filled with sorrow when she spoke of a son who drowned as a young man. I remember the sadness in her voice when she said, it's not right that a mother should watch her own child die.
Amen.
I look at photos that are new to me, old photos that are new to me every time. I travel time and see her beauty, accompanied by a stern look that used to stir my curiosity. I think, how could this possibly be? How could this hardened one be the sweet Nan that helped raise me, that recited songs, listened to me read gospel stories, let me draw, let me help cook, then took over as I looked, fascinated that the pop of the hot grease didn't bother her at all. Took me to the park, watched me dance around the room crazy, acting like the people on TV. Made snow cones with me, fixed me tea, made sure I was safe as could be, and so I'd wonder, what's wrong with this picture? Until I realized that nothing is wrong with this picture. Realized she had to be a strong fixture for a family against the poisonous mixture of classism, racism, and sexism, all pervasive in society. That solemn strength was the sobriety needed to help get her family through a world drunk with the lynching of black bodies and souls. Her soul's devotion gave her kinfolk the substance of hope and fostered her faith evidence in the love seen and felt by all who were around it. I'm actually astounded that a black woman could survive nearly a century of this sick so-called civilization and still be as sane and kind and caring as she was. Kind and caring as she was. What's the next line of this poem, y'all?
Kind of caring as she was.
Y'all don't know this. It's new.
You know
I
her.
ain't heard that yet.
You know her.
Still be kind as caring as she was. Even while scrubbing white women's floors. Walking through too many back doors. Working so that doors would be open for her children. Precious progeny. Brought forth with a man named John Henry Rogers. A man I am decades removed from ever having known, yet ever shall I intone his name with quiet reverence for the great and grandfather he must have been. My child's mind would intertwine him with the folk legend of the similar name. Indeed, they would both hammer out a life for their family because Al John Henry also worked hard until his death of TB, a poor man's disease that robbed Alice of her beloved after too few seasons. Yet she continued to be strong, and yet she continued to remain strong for her family, and therefore her family became strong. Their birthstones embedded in her ring. She treasured her children and kept them ever in her thoughts and prayers. She was the matriarch who guided the arc of her heirs, and throughout my years I was surrounded by pillars of love. My soul stands tall as I call them out like the tribes of Israel. Always this story I'll tell, for they will always be my chosen nation. With pride I say them, summoning ancestral strength as I sound their names. John Henry Jr., Allison Ephraim, James Thaddeus, Edna Louise, Lillian Lucille, George Franklin. Together they forged a rank in which I always had elders to look up to. Funny, I always said I would sit them down and write their bios. It's funny how you wake up one day and they're gone. Your whole historical task having been procrastinated on one lifetime too long. And that is something I shall eternally regret. But let me not regress into stagnant self-pity. Let me and the others teach the young ones on how they're part of a lineage proud. Let's share stories and glories and remembrances aloud, as Nan would have us do. This legacy is my leverage to live, and so let me live out the lessons earned and use the wisdom earned to overcome the mind's and soul's illness. I have no excuses because I have no lack of example from which to sample strength, inspirited by their encouragement and nurtured by one who exhibited fortitude and faith unwavering, kindness unfailing. When I feel myself ailing, I can hear her voice singing, and the verses of my years with her come back to me like a trusted hymn. She'll always be there, as she was in my grandmother's time, and in my mother's, and in mine, and will be in times to come. Like the African violets she so loved, she was royal grace and black beauty in the form of an ever-present, peaceful presence, and she is still present with me. Yea, I am convinced that nothing can separate me from the love of that God-sent soul who helped define my very life. So even in the midst of the strife, I can still myself and still feel myself comforted by my great-grandmother's hand. Her name was Alice, Louise, Miller, Burnett, Rogers, Prince. But I just called her Nan.